Welcome to Just Some Guy Trading with 2021 World Champion Trader Kevin McCormick. Welcome back to my weekly outlook for the week of April 16th. This week we're going to be covering the S&P 500, Nasdaq, natural gas, soybean meal, and corn. As a reminder, this presentation is for educational purposes only. If you didn't check out my special report on the April rally and why this is one of the best months of the year during the third year of a presidential cycle, I recommend going back to view it. We'll include a link up above. But during this report, I highlighted that I was really looking for a 2 to 4% move in the month of April. I wanted to highlight this before we jump into the charts because I'm going to reference this when we take a look at the S&P 500 chart right now. Okay, let's start off with the S&P 500 futures contract on the chart here. One of the couple key things have happened here in the last 2 weeks of April. We've been in this area of consolidation, but this consolidation has been very healthy for us because it's actually been expanding the breadth of the market. This rally is not going to be driven by just a couple major large stocks like we've had with really most of this rally from here up was driven by some of the mega tech, mega cap stocks. But on Friday, we got our first round of important earnings led by JP Morgan, and they surprised the hedge funds, which have a very large short position in the S&P 500 right now. And I think that's what caused the quick rally in the morning, and then they covered their shorts, and then we kind of just went back in this area of consolidation. Key things that we want to look at for next week is this is still our major area of resistance right here. 4240 in the S&P 500 futures contract, around 4200 in the SPY ETF. I think we're going to clear this week, but I don't know if we're going to be able to break through resistance and make that support. But the key is this blue line here, that's right around our 3% number that I'm targeting for the month of April. And this week, we have a ton of earnings that are come out, very important earnings that are going to drive the market. And I think we're going to surprise to the upside and cause more short covering for the S&P 500 this week. So let's take a quick look at the Nasdaq chart. As I mentioned during my special report on this DeMark sell 13 that we got here, I highlighted that I thought this was a good 13 for us to skip. It was not a good sell signal. I did not like this sell setup. And if you want to go back and take a look at the special report, it's on my channel. But I was correct in that we have continued this trend higher. But I believe the S&P 500 is going to have a larger rally in the month of April than the Nasdaq. And that's why I'm looking for and taking buy signals in the S&P 500 until the end of April. Once we head into May, it may be time to sell and go away, but we'll take a look at the charts then. Now that we've taken a look at the stock market, let's take a look at the commodity markets up next. Okay, with the commodity markets, let's start off with natural gas. I know we've all been watching this for a few months now, looking for that bottom. I think we're still almost there forming it. My ADX indicator still says that the bottom is being formed. We're above 40 in the ADX. But as I've said before, we need to see a confirmed breakout from this range, and we are not there yet. When we first crossed the ADX, this is when we had our move above the 18-day moving average. We broke above the will stop, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, and then boom, we continued to trend lower again. This week, I think we got another early fake out on forming this bottom. We broke through the will stop, kissed the 18-day moving average, but then kissed and collapsed and came back down. We only spent 4 bars above this level. I don't think we're there yet. I think we have a lot of funky things, as I've highlighted, that are going on with contract rolls in the natural gas complex right now. But I do see a glimmer of hope for the bottom coming soon, and that's with the on-balance volume in the futures market. I haven't discussed this much and don't have a video out there educationally yet, but on-balance volume typically follows the trend of the price action. When we start to get a divergence in on-balance volume, it usually means we have a reversal coming. This week, and over the last 8 trading days, you can see here on balance volume was coming down as the market was coming down, but we just recently had our divergence. Price has continued its move down, but on balance volume is moving higher, making higher lows, while the natural gas is making lower lows. This is a sign to me that we could be getting closer. And we have one more indicator that I like here as well, and that is the Williams Progo indicator. And I've pulled this up. The green line is professional buying. As you can see, they've been negative for a long time. That same little fake out breakout we had before was caused here. And then this week, they started to come back into the positive area. So I think we're probably still another week away. If we get one more week down, then we'll trigger a 13 combo in the DeMarc as well. But as I've highlighted, we've blown through so many of these DeMarc buy signals. But I think in the next 2 weeks, we may have a buying opportunity in natural gas. Be patient. Don't try to jump this early. Jumping it early can cost you a ton of money in the natural gas market. So just stay tuned. And I think maybe we can officially call a bottom in natural gas soon. Now let's move on to the grain markets. We're going to start off with soybean meal in the grain markets. I think we're setting up nicely fundamentally and technically for a rally in soybean meal. As you can see here on the chart, we had our pullback from our highs here, came down and made a new low. We came back up into the 18-day moving average, kissed and collapsed, but we made a higher low here, and we've set up a beautiful trend line here. We're almost in the buy area with %R. I don't like seeing the trend of momentum coming down, but I think the fundamentals and other technical indicators that I'm about to show you are way too strong in soybean meal right now. So this week, I'm going to be looking for buy signals once we get back down into this area, kiss this 18-day moving average, and then move higher with the market. In addition to that, we are so undervalued right now on soybean meal. As you can see, the dollar and gold were undervalued. And most importantly, or not most importantly, but another indicator here is the daily seasonal pattern for soybean meal indicates that right here, right now, we should be starting our summer rally in soybean meal that could continue all the way into July. That's the outlook for soybean meal. Now let's go take a look at corn. All right, and let's end our day with corn. If you've watched any of my videos for the last month, you know I've been extremely positive on corn ever since we had this pullback here. And from a technical perspective, we still have multiple indicators that are showing us a positive trend in corn, and the fundamentals are there. But I have one item that's giving me a little pause right now in the corn market, and it's going to be that on-balance volume again. Before we jump into that, let's just take a look. This week, I closed out my corn longs actually today when we got back into these areas. If you've watched my video on how I use Williams %R, you'll know we had a great buy signal here and entered the market. And I took my profits today up here around in this range. I'm looking for a pullback right now in corn. And once we get that pullback, I may or may not go long right now, but I want to show you the area of caution that's giving me pause in the corn market. And that's going to be the on-balance volume. As you just saw me point out in natural gas earlier, with the divergence that looks like we may be getting ready for a positive trend, we have the exact opposite in corn right now. If I give you a couple trend lines here, you can see here that we had this low and we moved higher. But at the same time, we are not having the same happen with on-balance volume. This is a huge negative right now that we've had this moving lower as corn is moving higher. With all the fundamental demand and other technical indicators right now, we should see more volume coming into corn, not less. And this is why it's giving me pause. And I'm happy that I hit my profit target in corn today in my trade. This week, I'm going to be watching corn closely to see if the technicals change. But for everyone else out there, still bullish corn. But I think this week, We want to see what the market does, and probably more specifically, see if China comes back into the market and buys some more. Thanks for watching my weekly outlook on Just Some Guy Trading. If you've enjoyed my content, please remember to hit subscribe and like to see more great content like this.